I love Halo. It's my favourite IP of all time. The 343 in my name is actually from Guilty Spark, just one of the many characters I love from Halo. And if you're like me, then you probably already know what this video is about. We got an exciting video from the new Halo Studios the other day, and I just want to talk about why I found this so exciting, as well as some of the reservations I have. And remember, if you like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Now, we got this video during the Halo World Championships the other day, and starting off by showing Chris Matthews is great. He's the new art director at Halo. But not just that, he's actually received blessings and praise from Markus, who is the art director for Halos 1, 2 and 3. He said that he believes Chris is a great choice for the role. He's happy with Chris being picked and believes he's a great choice for the role. Markus is definitely someone whose opinion I value, so this is great news to me. Also Pierre. He is someone who I believe was quite a big driving force behind the fixing of the messy launches of the Masterchief collection as well as Infinity, and he's here doing something he very evidently doesn't want to do, in a very cool jacket might I add. This is another very promising person to see in the video in my opinion. Even just this little shot showing the original classic Halo games pre-343 is a good sign. I loved Halo 4 and I liked 5 and Infinite, but I'm not going to pretend that the original trilogy wasn't something special. I'm happy to see that these are the games they're looking at for direction, rather than sticking to the work they had already done at 343.
What made Halo successful at the beginning? What is the legacy of Halo, and what's the soul that we want to bring forward, and what's the craft of making Halo games, and how do we set our studio at best to go deliver on that?
And here as well, small comments like setting ourselves up for the future or the fact they're making changes, it makes me believe that they understand that changes do need to be made. And I'm hopeful that they are changes that we will all love and enjoy.
We knew we had to make a change in order to take us into the future.
When I first heard about Halo moving to Unreal Engine, my first thought was, this is going to be a really hard secret to keep.
And this is huge. Unreal Engine. Previously, Halo was built in the Blam engine, which was later revamped and renamed the Slipspace engine for Halo Infinite. This meant that a lot of their work was going to the actual development of the engine instead of just into game development. It also meant that new hires have to go through a whole learning process that will most likely be drastically shortened in the Unreal Engine. Most game devs know how to use Unreal. No one knows how to use Slipspace. In my opinion, this will likely save on wasted development time and could make developing Halo games far more efficient than it's ever been before. Unreal Engine has undeniably beautiful lighting and runs pretty efficiently too. So it's exciting to see what they can do, and in this video you'll see that Halo and Unreal is beautiful. Now I do understand there is a little bit of worry about losing that Halo feel, the essence that us Halo players can't find in other games like Call of Duty or a Battlefield or anything like that. But I was watching Hidden Xperia's video the other day, and he mentioned that Blam engine actually uses a physics plugin called Havoc, and he believes that Havoc can actually be plugged into Unreal. Now don't get me wrong, my knowledge on game dev is super surface level, but to me this sounds like the Halo feeling can be brought over to the Unreal with the physics. This needs to match up with the aesthetics and the audio of the game in development, which I know they can do. With this new improved efficiency and output, as well as them mentioning that there are stories other than Chief in Halo, I feel it's very reasonable to expect that we will be getting more Halo games more frequently, because the game studio will be focused on making games and not making a game engine and training new staff on that game engine. And this is something I'm so excited for. The potential for spin-offs within Halo universe is huge. There's so much lore and so much potential there. For example, even just in the spirit of October, imagine a game where you're playing as the ODSTs, fighting or even just escaping the Flood, with a kind of horror aesthetic to it on Earth. It would be incredible. Even just imagine a Helldivers type game where you're playing as those disposable Spartan 3s on some impossible mission that you're not meant to come back from, and you do die, then you just drop in as another Spartan 3 and you crack on with that mission. Just waves and waves of Covenant or even Banished. There's just so much untapped potential in this universe, and I'm excited to think that they may start tapping at it. Project Foundry is also super promising. Another thing Hidden Xperia mentioned was that this isn't built like most tech demos. It's much more like an in-game experience, so whilst this may not be gameplay, it theoretically shows things that are much more viable to achieve in-game than your average tech demo. But to me, that's not even the promising part. It's the fact that they're assigning resources to learning and training themselves, and on something that isn't even a game. This isn't going to make them money, it's just going to develop their skills, which is huge to me. From this video, I definitely get the feeling that a very difficult meeting was had, and it was decided that they need to take a step back, or maybe even 2 steps back, and I'm just really hoping things like Project Foundry will prep them to take a giant leap back forward. Now, I don't think anyone can say that this footage doesn't look like Halo. It looks beautiful, the lighting in the snow scene especially. But something I loved seeing was this entire flood planet. I've always had this theory that when the rings fired, they would only clear a certain amount of space within a certain distance of the rings. But what if the flood was outside of that area of space already? Maybe there are completely infested flood planets out there that are just waiting to become an issue in later Halo games. I know that's not what this is. This is likely just them practicing the flood and compiling assets for a Halo 1 remake, but it was still cool to see my idea visualized. I am still really hoping that they bring the flood back in the sequels. Please, Halo Studios, we need the flood. A small hint at a Halo 1 remake was the Covenant Banshee in the snow rather than a banished one. But now, after seeing Chief in his Mark V armor, it's a pretty huge hint that Halo 1 is getting remade. I think this is great. In my opinion, there is a path for yearly Halo releases. I don't really know much about game dev, so I'm likely being very over-optimistic. But imagine this. One year we get a Halo remake, then the next we get a spin-off. The next maybe we get another remake, and then the next we get a sequel. And then just repeat this cycle. I think this is the best way that you can really draw in new Halo fans and get them really invested in Halo in the same way that we all were as kids back in 2001. I also think starting Unreal with a remake is a great idea, meaning they will be focusing on learning the engine and how to make Halo in that engine, much less of a worry about writing a new story and things like that. We also definitely need more regular games to maintain any form of fanbase. It shouldn't be taking so many years because people forget and stop caring about Halo, which, as much as it saddens me to say, does start to make Halo irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. And I feel like with Unreal Engine, hopefully making game dev far more efficient, and the fact that they're expanding their studio with new hires that don't need to be trained in Blam or Slipspace, this is very possible and exciting. Also, the fact that they mention working on multiple projects makes me hopeful that this is a process that has already begun, although I do admit Infinite could be one of those projects. Now, I do promise I will stop simping over Pierre. Earlier on I mentioned his awesome jacket. Now he's here with a really cool hat and t-shirt. Not really a hat guy, but I'm definitely going to have to try and find myself a Finish the Fight shirt and also that jacket from earlier. I actually really like the Halo Studios shirts too. Outfit of the day video incoming. It's nice to see them looking at this as a fresh start too. Whilst Halo Studios isn't an entirely from scratch start over, a lot of the people from 343 management that the community had labelled as problematic do seem to be gone, as well as a lot of the rest of the team. I'm not going to pretend that I know what goes on inside the studio, but the optimist in me really does hope that the people not working well with the world of Halo have moved on to other projects and we're left with legitimate Halo fans in place. So whilst it's not totally different, maybe it's different enough that they do earn a fresh start. If they do make an honourable remake of Halo 1 and maybe the next original game they make, whether it's a spin-off or a sequel, is good, then they've earned a fresh start and, in my opinion, will detach themselves from previous sins done by 343. The only thing I will say though is I don't really like the logo. Having no hole in the O that could have been a Halo ring is so criminal to me, as well as the missing part on the H and the lack of hole in the A. I appreciate they don't want it just to be the text Halo, but I'd honestly prefer that to this. But that's not the end of the world, let's be honest, and it was the only thing I didn't like about this video. I'm still a bit worried that this is just marketing and maybe they haven't learned or changed anything at all. I really hope that they do prove me wrong about that. This is the first time in years that I've been excited about the future of Halo. I even had a video mocked up titled Why It's Hard to Be a Halo Fan in 2024, which I probably won't make now. I just really hope that my excitement isn't wasted, but we should have to wait and see. I'm thinking about starting streaming soon, and any new Halo game is definitely something I'd stream. So if that's something you're interested in, please do follow me on Twitch and drop a sub here on YouTube. In the meantime, please do let me know your thoughts of the future of Halo in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.